We're going to start off, like I said earlier, Chihan's already gone through some things, principles today. He talked about the different katas. They could easily have been in each dimension a couple of times, but some of these have the same flowing movement as first and second kata. Yeah? So rather than start off with the same thing with it, starting off with striking, we'll start off with being perceived. Okay? And for the exercise today, what we'll do is someone grabbing hold of us with both hands. So I know we could easily do one wrist grab, one on the throat, one on the lapel, which might get time to do later on the lapel. We're just going to assume everything's starting off with two hands, okay? Right. So we'll start it off pretty simple. So, all right, so let's work on the wrist grabs to start with. Again, people are just going to stand there like this. Okay? This is not an attack. This is kind of a proposal almost. So, if someone grabs you by the wrist, is it a pushing or a pulling scenario? Pulling. He's not going to push me from here. If you push me, you just go straight back this way. Okay? So, what we're going to do is we're going to work on. We're going to work on the four principles in Taigyoku Nidan. Four principles techniques. A downward block, put a straight punch or a straight strike. We're going to do a lot of palm heels today, like in the first part of the class. Also very much. Because close range self-defense, there's a lot of advantages to using your open hand as opposed to the closed fist, which we'll go through in a minute. When you use a Maigeri or something similar, Maigeri could be a scrape, it could be a stomp, right? It could be moving to a stance and stomping on the foot, it could be a scrape, it could be a thrust, it could be a normal Maigeri, it could be a knee. It's the same movement, isn't it? It begins everything the same way, the ending just varies slightly based on what target you're aiming at, right? The downward block might start from here in the kata, up in here, but very traditional start. But as we worked on earlier today, it can easily just be a chop down. That motion of coming down and forward is not dissimilar to this, yeah? Bang with the knee is no different really to 1, 2, 3 in terms of how your brain wires up those techniques together. It's a very reflex to you, right? So that's why we're working on a kata that you've been doing for so long, it's so well embedded into you that there's so many different self-defense techniques or different escapes and strikes out things that you can use. Just using those sequences without even getting too fancy beyond that, yeah? Okay. So we'll start out with here. Now, first of all, if Dave's pulling me back, nothing much I want to do initially is going to be working with my arms fully extended. Okay? Your elbows going to be a little bit bent to make some of this stuff work. We have done like a lot of kids self-defense, haven't we? Sort of rocket, you know, and the walls and me, right? That sort of stuff. We won't be doing that today. But if you haven't seen some of those, they're really good for teaching kids. They're generally non-violent escape techniques. We're going to be a bit more violent today, okay? Because we're adults. Okay, but it's not to say you couldn't do that, and that wouldn't work as well. I'm just trying to keep most things today in the context of the familiar moves of the kata, yeah? Now, gedan bari can be used as a deflection, and we use it sometimes as a deflection or a knocking down of an arm. It can be used as a strike, as we know, with a closed hand, with an open hand. It doesn't have to be striking to the groin either. It starts from one shoulder and rips across the other here and strikes there, or even to there, it almost looks like a shooter. Anything that has the movement from one shoulder striking out to the next has that same feel to it. Right? So we won't just be confining our striking to the groin, you're happy to know. Something a bit higher. Okay? But it's still with that one side of the other, one side of the body ripping out to the other, followed by something straight. Yeah? So there's two ways we use gedan bari: deflection, strike, and the third way we use it is to rip and tear someone's hands off you, or to rip someone's head off. Right? If they're close to you. So we're going to be using head manipulation, using it, and manipulating the body. This whole movement of one side coming down to the other side. Not always staying in the one position. Quite often today we'll be practicing moving just like the kata does. And in the first move of our kata, the first thing we do is we step out, don't we? Some styles doing the H pattern kata, the first thing they do is step back. It's not that different really, so we'll be doing it both today. Okay? Sometimes we'll be stepping through and trying to get in behind and taking down that way, but not so much today. Okay? So remember what gedan bari is. 3 different ways you can get it using gedan bari. All the different types of front kick we might use. The strike will be mostly open hand, might be some punches as well. Could even be some chops down. What's the difference? The same gross motor movement, same fighting sequence, yeah? And the stances, well, we're not just going to be in stance. You know, in some cases, we're going to be using more so the changing in direction that the stance uses, going from one position to another. Either from here all the way back to here, as the kata does, or from here, as we just practiced, this way, or from here back this way and turning. So, yes, we'll be using Zen Futsu Dutch, but we're using it in motion. In many cases, redirecting its body weight somewhere else. So it's not just coming straight back on it. Yeah? There's a bit of background. So we'll start with the wrist grab. Okay, first of all, if Dave's really pulling me hard, he's trying to pull me back, and I'm not strong enough to stop it from happening. Right? My arms are out. It's easy to just bang, like we did earlier. Yeah? Bang. And of course, his hands let go, boom, and then strike, bang, which is really just very simply, Gary, or is it straight down the guts of the kata, right? 1, 2, 3 ki, yeah? Simple stuff, straightforward. You could kick to the groin, that would work too, or if you really want to make sure that their body goes back, you can thrust back in that back leg. If his other leg was forward, and that wasn't there, if his other leg was forward, I might have to go for that back leg, or I might just kick straight into the groin. Depends what leg I've got back. But either way, when I'm here, he's still held on and strike. Yeah? Sometimes you can kick and try to get your leg in behind and push, but you've got to be a pretty good shot to get it right in a messy self-defense scenario. So just smash the leg out of the way. Even if you don't get caught up in here, just get back to the leg enough to push the leg back, step through after you've thrusted, and smash the face. If they're still standing, other one forward, make area again, just like the kata does, right? Straight down the guts. So that's the first thing, is that you're pulling your back from this way, okay? Now let's look at other moves where we can start using gedan bari. Now, you can't, it's very hard for you to keep my hands in one position, okay? But assuming we're about the same size, what I want to do is use one hand, slap the other hand off, right? This way. You've got to go with both hands, which is good. One. Yep. One. What am I starting? Gedan bari, yep. Now I could strike out as the first move. Second move, yeah? Once you've struck that, 1, 2, yeah, depending where he is then, come to a knee or a kick, whichever's next. Same gross motor sequence, right? So I'm slapping one hand off, yeah, and I'm striking, bang low, high second, and then whatever comes next, whatever's open. Okay, so my shin will be going to the yeah? And of course that palm heel, you punch someone, it can graze, it can bounce, it just miss. The palm heel pushes the whole head back. The good thing about the palm heel, it's got one less hinge. When you punch, if you don't get it just right, head's a funny shape. Okay, it's perfect. Your fist can do that, right? And bounce off. Palm heel has got that hinge completely locked already. Right? You can only do that, right? You get a bigger surface area. The elbow is always right behind the wrist, which is great. Yeah? Can't sort of skew out like a punch can sometimes. Much harder than this. And if you've got a strong person, you don't want to be pushing into the body. If you've got someone that's strong, above their collarbones, you go under there and just push back. It's very difficult for them for their head not to go back. If they're still holding on tight, at that point, the more back they are, the more the knees open. Push, kick. Down, push, knee, down, push, kick, down, push, stomp, down, push something. You know what I mean? So it's all the same movement. So you have to think, wrist grab. What now? You can almost use the same basic things. Okay? So remembering that we've got 1, 2, yeah, 3, and 4. Right? Or it can just be, he might, like he did earlier, he might just like go both hands, bang, bang, and kick. Right? So slapping one out of the way, bringing it up here to the opposite shoulder, just like it was getting right. If you're still holding a hand, banging low, use the hand open. That's a great starter. Right? Makes the head flinch, yeah? Bang. Yes, you could chop here, but what I like about using the palm heel is it pushes the head back, which makes more room for me to drill my right leg in based on that proximity, depending on what it's going to be. Very simple, dangerous, right down the middle stuff, yeah? If you want to get a little bit off the line, you might get this one ready first. Instead of opening up and striking in his second or their second, onto there, I'll come to the side, strike. And in this case, I'll probably stomp straight into that shin and push the leg out and hit and pancake, you know? So 1, 2, 3, which is really just like going 1, 2, 3. Now depending on where his leg is, again, try and kick from the side on's not bad if you've got a good shot in there in the shin, but you can always stomp straight in there, bigger surface area, foot's longer, dump some heel into the calf muscle, and the leg will be yep. If his other leg was forward, it could be different. 1, 2, 3, 4. In that instance, it might come around the legs, strike past the head, and sweep around the leg that way. Yeah? It's all the same movement though. Okay, the kick came around a little bit more behind the leg. It's the same thing though, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so one after I broke free from one of them, I was striking with the hand next. The other one I broke free and I was dropping the hand out of the way, smashing out of the way, striking on an angle. Okay, when that leg was open, I was hitting the inside of that leg. Okay. Not bad to punch someone from side on either, by the way. More chance of putting the lips down there. Put someone side on. It should be a, lights out. Kicking that leg out might already happen for you, but that's if his other leg was forward. Well, actually, it didn't matter if it was forward, basically. 1, 2. Right? Bang. Quite fast. And then what I did before was really extend it past the head, coming behind that front leg. If you needed to. Who's to say you couldn't do that again as well? So again, it is violent, but we're going to work on these three basic steps for the wrist grab. One is just a kick, bang. One is the slap the hand free, strike, bang, boom, bang, boom, boom. And that one move, yeah. Not like you should have talked about earlier. 1, 2, 3. It's almost like the back leg is attached to this reverse hand, like they're on like there's a rubber band attached. As soon as this gets over here, this one comes up. And going, and then kicking, it's just drive, yeah? You think of those 3 moves when you go down the Kata now? Yeah? Drive straight down the middle, okay? And so again, it's just slap. Yeah? You can do the other hand if you want, depends which leg you've got forward. And from there, you're really bang, bang, bang. Yep. Leg forwards, side, strike on an angle, and come and kick. Either way, your mind will definitely know what to do. You'll be doing this in your sleep. Block, punch, kick, right? Since you're white belts. Okay, so we're going to use that particular sequence to open up hell on each other today, okay? Ready? I'm not going to count. I'm just going to say, right, I'm going to say the people facing the back of the room, you'll be doing all the attacking first. Okay? And then I'll say change, and with the other person's turn. Now make sure you don't just walk up and you hold each other's hands. Right? You start walk up and grab and start to pull around. Be mindful of your surroundings, yeah? As soon as you feel the grab happening, grab with some venom. Grab after a while, once you got used to it, grab like you're really trying to grab someone. And once you've got the hang of it, not just like you're standing there holding someone's wrists. And the music's about to start, you know? Okay? Be mindful of your surroundings, please. Go through all 3 of those sequences and then I'll say change. Ready? Hey! So it looks good so far. You'll get more time to practice this because in a little while it's going to be random coming up, grabbing hold of you. So essentially, you just got to remember little things like some of you are, you get to a certain position, don't know what comes next. Like you might have done this, you might have done this, and both hands came free. You went, oh, what do I do now? You know, just think, what could be next? Smash the hand out of the way and strike. One bang, you know? And when you throw this right hand here, like we practiced this morning when Shihan had us sort of doing techniques 1, 2, 3, 4, bang. Notice how he's saying keeping this hand in here and keeping it and sort of striking within that corridor, not letting things get too rangy, too swinging. And when this one comes out, well, it's not like in the Kata, you might be going 45 degrees, square off the strike. We're staying in closer now, it's more free flowing. When you hear bang, as soon as this hand comes out, it's almost like that arm and this leg are just like a double trigger action. When this one comes out, this leg's coming anyway. Right? This does not, this one doesn't come by itself. Imagine this scenario. The leg's always coming with it. It's going to come around, even if you did something half lame, like it just came in and kneed you in the calf, and that's all that happened. in the thigh or the inside of the thigh, the outside of the thigh, that's still better than punching and stepping back and see what happens next. Bang, bang, bang. They just join. This one comes out, as soon as it reaches its extension point, this one comes up to the ground and does something. Right? Never just throw, in this scenario, don't ever just throw this by itself. Bring the kick afterwards, okay? Even when you're sparring, you know, like in a more free-flowing scenario, if you're doing a decent round kick, and you often get round kicks in kick head level, or body level for that matter, most of them will get in after a reverse punch. Not just by itself. You might not have the trickiness in your kick enough to just sort of make the thing all happen by itself. It's going to flow after something. You can often throw a lunge punch, left hand, and then a reverse round kick right leg. You follow it on with something here. You know, if it was a back kick, boom, like we talked about this morning, bang, boom, or it just comes from a punch, boom, and around. So they flow together rather than punch, back, and kick. Or left side, and then this. You could do that, but it's a bit slower. It's two motions, body one way, body the other way. This is all one movement. Yeah? So